we are going to start off making our paper using a lovely recyclable material, which is some toilet roll. And this is the very worst toilet roll that you can buy. So it's not expensive stuff, it's certainly not your quilted expensive toilet rolls. So we're going to just take the pieces and we're just going to pop them onto our board. And I'm going to be using a lot of water, a lot of inks, so you want to make sure that you're on a nice surface, that it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit damp. I'm going to spray down our mat, and I'm using a Sizzix die cutting machine. You can use any of the die cutting machines. Ideally not an electrical one though, because you are dealing with water, so one of the presses or one of the turn handle die cut machines. I'm just going to put a few pieces of the tissue paper onto one of the boards, just scrumple it up a little bit and then give it a nice spray with just plain water. And that's all this is just a plain water bottle. And then we're going to go in with some ink, and this ink is just made by me. I've used some of a mixture of a couple of different inks, and you just take a plain water bottle and just a tiny dab or a spray into the bottle, and I'm going to make a really nice lavendery colour. So just spray those inks, and these are just plain water-based inks, no acrylic or anything like that in there, and just give it a nice shake up. So I'll go in with this one, and we're just going to spray the surface of the paper. And you can see the ink taking a little bit of colour on there. Take the other one of your sheets that comes with your machine and just press that on, and I'm just going to flip it over just so that we get nice and saturated on both sides. So at the moment I've just done probably 1 or 2 layers of the paper, and what we're trying to do is basically break down all the fibres in the loo roll. And we'll take that off, split them into 2, and the crumpling of the paper gives you that nice handmade edge. And so you're filling in the gaps on your board. There we go. So for this piece I am going to add some seeds, and these are just seeds from the garden shop, anything that you like. These are actually Love in the Mist, which is really weddingy, really bridal, and it's that when they grow they're the beautiful blue colours. And so we're just going to pop them on there. Don't worry about the seeds germinating or anything that quickly, it's not going to be wet for very long, so it's not too much of a problem. And then we're just going to cover over those seeds with ideally one layer over the top of them, just to keep them in there. And the final layer on this one, I'm just going to spray again. And we're actually probably going to use most of this bottle before we're finished. Spray, and we're going to use some beautiful confetti petals. And these are grown in the UK, they are organic, so sometimes you do get some of the stalks and things in, so we'll get rid of those. And they are absolutely beautiful, and of course completely biodegradable. Just a small smidge of paper on the top. Finish the sandwich of the petals, so they're going to hopefully press through into our paper. So I think we've got quite a bit of the water on there now. I'm going to use my other ink, which has got slightly more blue in it, just to add a little bit more colour. As you can see, as it goes through, it picks up the paper beautifully. So we'll pop the other sheet back on top, and I've also put a couple of layers of fabric or felt onto there as well, just to give it a little bit of extra bounce. And we'll bring in our machine. Now this is going to squidge out the sides once it goes through, so there's going to be a little bit of water coming in and out, so you're going to pass it through your machine and it will come out the other end. So you're going to need a bit of your glue roll or an old cloth, because it will be ink in the water as well. Pass it through again. And we have our beautiful paper. Let's take those off. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave that to dry. And the best way for it to dry is just to leave it at room temperature. You can put something on top as it starts to dry, just to keep it nice and flat, because it does tend to buckle as it dries. But don't be tempted to go in with a hairdryer or an embosser or anything like that has hot air, because that will make it go fluffy. But you can put it onto like a radiator top as it's drying. One final way, so we've got our seeds in there and we've got our flowers in there. If you wanted to make it even more decorative, you can put, I've got a piece of vintage lace here to put on there as well. You just pop your lace on before it goes through, and then we're going to put it back through the machine for a quick spin. There we go. Go back through, and hopefully we will have our lovely lace embossed into the paper as well. Now you can add mica powders into these if you have them, different colours, you can add threads, you could have all sorts of things in. Obviously the more things that are not biodegradable, obviously it won't be biodegradable anymore. So I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of mica powder over there, and that will soak in as well and give a lovely sheen. So I've just done some samples here of the different kinds of papers you can make. This is actually with no dye on at all. This is just the plain loo roll. So it's quite plain. I've put lace down the middle. We've used cream dye on that one, and ink. And then on these we've used lavender, we've got seeds in there, we've got the lovely decoration, and of course you can go completely wild with all your inks and make any pattern. But we're going to use our piece similar to the one that we've just done, and we'll start to put together one of our cones. So you have your beautiful embossing there, and that's vintage lace that's gone into that. And what you're going to do is just turn it over, so you've got the other side. We're going to just tear the edges so that you might have some slightly square edges there, just so it's not quite so even. And then pop a finger in the middle, fold the bottom right corner to the middle there, and then you're just going to twist that round to make the cone. And bring it all the way around to the front. Then a dab of glue just on that bit, and just give it a couple of seconds to bind. So there we have our perfect cone shape. Now decorating these, it is anything goes. We've got all sorts of little bits from all my kind of collections of things, buttons, vintage laces. We've got some really lovely original vintage paper flowers here as well, silk flowers, so I might use those. I'm just going to pop those on one side. I'll get another little bit, in fact I'll cut those off. Another dab of glue, just there. And put that inside. So that is our cones.